I, 29 female, am getting married to the love of my life, 30 male, in a few months. We were high school lovers and childhood friends. He's truly my best friend and everything I want in life. However, we both decided to wait until we were well off to be married to have our once-in-a-lifetime magical moment. My sister, Stacy, 21, got married at 19 to someone I like but am not super close with. They were together for 5 months before he proposed. Their wedding was rushed, and half our family couldn't even make it because of how soon it was planned and set up. It was small and just in a courtroom, no dress, party, etc. Just a legal wedding. However, my wedding's around $19K, and we haven't finished everything. It took us ages to set everything up and save. Stacy recently came over. We're close and have dinner once a week at my place, and asked if she could walk down my aisle and meet her husband so she could feel like a bride. I laughed and asked if she was serious, and she was. She claims she never got her magic moment and wants to feel special once, but it's my wedding and my special day. She had hers. Stacy claims it would only be between us, and it won't take away from me. But then I asked what she might wear, and she showed me pictures on her phone of wedding dresses. Hard no for me. She then asked again yesterday in front of my fiancé, and I think it was an attempt to pressure me. He laughed and said no, thinking it was a joke like I did the first time. My mother and Stacy's husband say I'm being an idiot because Stacy still isn't rich, so she can't afford another wedding, even if she wants one. But neither are me and my future husband. We just planned for years. I just wanted one day for myself, but maybe I'm blowing it up because she never got the bridal experience. Am I the idiot for not letting her have a once-in-a-lifetime moment? Edit. I just feel guilty since I've always been able to afford more than my sister. I had a job at 16, saving money, etc. Meanwhile, she only worked after college, which was fully paid for by our grandma, while I had to get by on scholarships. When I was in college, my parents weren't well off, but when my grandmother passed, she left a large sum of money to my parents and sister. My grandpa's the one who helped me pay for my college when I desperately needed food or books. Others told me to get a second job. Not the idiot. There's no conceivable universe where her walking down the aisle on your wedding day at the location of your wedding, wearing a wedding dress, will be just between the two of you and not detract from your day. It's rude of her to even ask. And if she wants a special moment, she can plan her vow renewal event where she wears a wedding dress and has all her family, etc. I'm just wondering how she envisions this situation without it being a confusing spectacle. I'm shocked that people dare to even ask stuff like this. It doesn't matter if she's your sister and her moment wasn't what she had hoped for. If you allow this, your moment will be different than you imagined it to be. Your sister and her husband made their choices. They could have waited, but they didn't. Exactly. Your sister wanted to get married before you, knowing you were having a long engagement. There was never going to be an overlap, and she knew it. She wanted to show off then, and now wants to make your day about her. She's also manipulating you to feel sorry as she rushed and cannot afford the wedding you're having. Girl, do not give her an inch. Plus, your fiancé said no. It's his day too. Your edit is wild. Your parents paid for her college, and you had to figure college out for yourself? Sorry, OP. Your parents have a clear favorite, and it's not you. You're being punished for being forced to be way more responsible than your sister. Feel no guilt. And it doesn't sound like you've had a lot be about you in your life, and your wedding is the one day it should absolutely be all about you. Please don't feel guilty. None of this is your responsibility. My 29 male, wife 26, is pregnant, and as such, we've been seeing an obstetrician, 41 male. He's a really imposing guy, both physically, very tall and fit, and in terms of personality. He's had a really hostile and condescending attitude toward me since we first met. for apparently no reason. The first time we were there, my wife was carrying a big purse, and as soon as we went inside, he started questioning me for not carrying it myself and letting my pregnant wife make that effort. I was surprised by that, and I don't like confrontations, so I just took the purse myself and apologized to my wife. The issue is that things have only gotten worse since then. Whenever he has to explain medical things to me, he talks in a really belittling way, as if I was a little kid. He acts frustrated and derisive whenever I ask something, making me feel like an idiot. He doesn't talk like that to my wife, and she explains that it's because of her being a nurse and the doctor knowing she's more knowledgeable than me with that kind of medical stuff. He also calls me by my last name, but not respectfully, just in a weird and cold way, while calling my wife Lily. My wife seems to really like him. He always compliments her on her looks and congratulates her for being great at everything related to the pregnancy. I told my wife I wanted us to leave him and go to a different doctor, but she refused. She said that changing would be stressful for her and that she has no problem with him. She argues that how she feels should be the only thing that matters because she's the pregnant one, but I think that's a little unfair. We've been in conflict about this, and it's even harder than a normal argument because the pregnancy makes her so emotional and irrational. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. Amazingly, you're calling her emotional and irrational when you're literally asking her to make a major medical decision based on your emotions. From your attitude here, I'm guessing you have a giant ego and feel like you need to assert to the doctor that you know crap when you don't, hence his irritation with you. But even if that weren't the case, it's your wife's body, not yours. She gets 100% of the say in who her doctor is. Best of luck to your wife. It sounds like OP may have made up his mind about the doctor before actually meeting him. Did anyone else read the first lines and think that part of the problem was the OB being a larger guy than the OP? Also, the doc has the absolute gall to compliment Lily on how she's handling pregnancy and life in general. Seriously, how darn immature do you have to be to feel insulted that someone compliments your partner? OP needs to buck up and start treating her with a lot more care and respect, because even her OB is kinder than him. My cat's vet condescendingly described to me exactly what the problem was and why when I brought in my sick cat 2 weeks ago. He used very basic language, but was very detailed. He wasn't belittling me. I'm not a vet. He explained the situation to me in a way that I could understand, so I could better understand my cat's discomfort. That's what a good doctor does. And you're weirded out that he calls your wife by her name. She's his patient. There's no reason for your wife to change doctors other than your insecurity. I, female 25, am getting married to my fiancé, Jack, male 26, next year. His mom is excited about the wedding and has been very involved. I'm currently looking for a wedding dress, and my future mother-in-law insisted on looking with me. I had no issue with that until recently, when we were out shopping, and she kept criticizing every dress I tried on and kept saying things like, "No, that's not for us, and we can do better." I was getting irritated, but kept it inside to not cause any drama. At some point, I tried on a dress and immediately fell in love. I looked at the saleswoman and told her it was the one I wanted. My future mother-in-law did not agree and was like, "Are you kidding? I don't want that one. She's not pretty." I tried to remain as polite as possible and told her that although I was thankful she volunteered to come with me, it was still my future wedding dress and therefore my choice, and I was going to choose that one, whether she liked the dress or not. She started crying and told me that I was being ungrateful for everything she's done for me and called me selfish. She then left and took a taxi home. When I told my fiancé what happened, he said I should have been more understanding, because as he was her only kid, it was her only choice to live this. I do feel bad because maybe I could have been nicer, but I also feel like I should be able to choose the dress I want. Am I the idiot? It's her only chance to live this? Huh? What's this exactly supposed to refer to? And how in the world is this more important than your only chance to live your wedding? She had her chance. It was called her own wedding. Not the idiot, but this is your red flag. Your fiance's always going to take his mommy's side. You have to decide if that's the battle you want to fight for the rest of your life. If she's going to complain about wedding dresses today, then she's going to complain on and about your wedding day, your first new home, and the moments after delivering your children, when all you'll be wanting is just support, love, and privacy to bond with your newborn and husband. And when it comes to child rearing, she clearly doesn't want to acknowledge and respect your boundaries. Oh, but I'm her only kid, and this is her only grandchild. She deserves to be there. Oh, well, it may be her second grandchild now, but it's her first granddaughter. She totally deserves to be in the hospital room. Oh, I know. She keeps mentioning our parenting and criticizing us, but you have to understand, they're her only grandchildren. And it will go on and on and on. You've got a fiance problem. Please listen to the advice here. Will he have a spine? It's him marrying you, not him marrying his mom. He does show that he has a spine. It's easy to have rose-colored glasses and choose to ignore what's clearly the beginnings and foundations of problems. Where do rose-colored glasses get people? Divorced, or abused, or otherwise completely unhappy and unsatisfied. My son, preschooler, is having a birthday next week, and thus his party is planned. It's a pretty simple party, Bluey themed. He's excited beyond belief. Anyway, I was going through invites with my sister-in-law. I have 20 kids coming. My older sister knew about the party, but I'd already told her it was just for kiddos' nursery friends and their older siblings, but their parents are paying their way. Hence, her son is not invited. Which, by the way, is true. My sister-in-law's daughter just happens to attend the same nursery. My sister's son doesn't. Somehow she found out that her son was the only one not invited. There were only 3 kids in the family in the same age bracket, so she's technically correct. But I reiterated that it was for the nursery kids and it wasn't something personal. She kept pushing and insisted that I make an exception. I disagreed, but she wouldn't let it go. Truthfully, I didn't want him there for many reasons. My nephew's a sweet boy. Force him to share, wait, or play with other kids, and he's an absolute terror. Screaming, scratching, biting. I didn't want that behavior at my son's party, so I eventually told her so. She got quite upset and asked why her son specifically. All kids throw tantrums in that. I told her it was because he had no siblings or regular playdates. He can't share. He has his mom 24/7, never told to wait, and it makes him unpleasant to be around. I'd also like to say that I've never seen behavior like it before. I'm no expert, but I have 4 kids. My sister-in-law has 6, and never once has there been a tantrum like that among them. And my nephew has them 2 or 3 times a day. Anyways, I ended up closing the conversation because it was getting out of hand, and I didn't think it was that serious. She went back to our mom, who now tells me I should invite my nephew just to keep the peace, offering to come herself to keep an eye on him if I'm that nervous. To me, that's not the point. If I don't want a badly behaved child ruining my son's party, so what? That's a normal boundary to me. Am I really that much of an idiot here? She's acting like I've ostracized her kid from the family indefinitely. Side note, we're having a family get-together too, so they will see my son and spend time with him. I just don't want him at the party. There was a kid like this in my elementary school class. He also got routinely excluded from birthdays. Eventually, he stopped being an idiot because he realized nobody wanted anything to do with him because he was an idiot. Actions have consequences. Sounds like your sister and her son both need to learn that lesson. You're not the idiot. I like how she ran to mommy to solve her fights. It's not really a wonder how the kid turned out. Behavior has consequences. It sounds like she thinks her kid's violent, out-of-control behavior and tantrums are just normal behavior for a little kid. From what you're describing, they're not. And if your mom's offering to come and supervise him as a possible solution, it sounds like your sister-in-law doesn't intervene or make effective attempts to control her son. Honestly, you are the idiot for trying to hide the real reason for not wanting to invite your nephew behind the excuse that he's not part of the same nursery. That's clearly not the issue. Obviously, it's your son's party, so you don't have to invite anyone you don't want to. Still, it seems a bit unfair to exclude such a little kid from the party based on the behavior that you think results from him not having enough social interaction with other kids. Ask your sister to take him home if he starts being disruptive at the party, but he's only 4. And if the problem is that he hasn't had enough socialization with other kids, it seems harsh to not even give him a chance. Birthday parties focus on one person with a birthday, which means it'll be centered around OP's kid. If my nephew can't handle sharing or not being the center of attention, that will be a major problem at a birthday party. It's not OP's responsibility to make sure the nephew can have socialization. That would be his mom's job, and it sounds like she needs to do a better job. Honestly, I'd be scared around him as an adult. My son, Gabe, 19, is back for the summer after his first year at college. Before college, he was a thoughtful kid. This issue started this summer. He came back and won't do a favor for anyone. At college, he rarely called, which was expected. He was busy doing his work. He came today, and doing any favors is impossible. Like, can you close the door? His answer is, not my door. Or it's raining. I'm at work. Can you make sure the dog is in? But I came home, and the dog was soaked since he didn't let him in. It's for everything. Father's Day. He forgot even though his sister and I reminded him, and he didn't even show up for cake. That made my husband really sad. My breaking point was I got called into work last night for an emergency. My husband was gone for the week, and my daughter was asleep. I asked him to put the leftovers away since I needed to leave ASAP. It was so simple, yet they were still out when I returned home at 3 a.m. I went to his room. He was still up, and we argued. If he can't do anything for this family, we won't do crap for him. I then took back the money I gave him for a trip and told him to pay for it himself. He called me a jerk. My daughter's happy with the outcome. My mother called it too extreme, even though we've discussed this multiple times. Yes, I've tried to talk to him about this. It's like a brick wall, so he's not telling me if something happened at college. Edit. We refused to buy him a car, but that was before he left for college. OMG, you didn't buy him a car? You are so cruel, so heartless. This is it. Something happened. Not the idiot. He's being a selfish brat, and he needs to get out of that. All of your requests were reasonable for someone living under your roof. It's not like you asked him for a kidney. Keeping a house a home involves everyone living there, and if he's not willing to do his part, he can always live somewhere else for the summer. Tell your son he's an adult, and adults must contribute to get things. If he wants to act like a child, you'll treat him like one. I would have done the exact same thing in your situation. There's a baseline level of respect required, and if he can't do that, then he won't get anything from you and might not even be welcome to stay in the house for free if this behavior continues. I'm not exactly sure what's going on with your son, but he's in need of a wake-up call. Sounds like he's depressed. His entire personality changed while he was away at college. Something is going on here, and I'm not at all sure that we didn't buy him a car a year ago covers it. Developing mental health issues during the first year of college, or any year, of college is incredibly common. Get him in to see someone. Or it could be he's an entitled, spoiled jerk. Depression doesn't stop you from closing a door and still giving a snarky reply. He most likely got a taste of individuality after being away from family, shifting his perception of contributing to others. Leaving the dog in the rain would have been enough for me to kick him out.